Okay, so now I'm going to be doing the long distance demonstration testing with the extreme power amplification booster. And I'm going to show the difference with the standard booster that the TFR-1 Rod comes with, and I'm going to see how far I can get with that on a 2-gram gold coin that I have sitting out there at a distance. And then I'm going to take that standard booster off, and I'm going to hook on the extreme power amplification booster, and we're going to see approximately how much farther in feet we can go. I'm going to demonstrate the difference so you can see for yourself just how powerful this booster is. So here right now I have again the target discriminator, and I'm going to show you how I have a sample down at the bottom of the chamber there. It's about 1.5 grams of 18 karat gold. So you would place the sample as close as you can to the type of material that you're looking for in this chamber. So if you're looking for 18 karat gold, try to use a sample of 18 karat gold. You wouldn't want to look for 18 gold with a sample of 24 karat pure gold, and I explained that in my instructional CD as well. So anyway, the TFR-1 Rod is programmed by itself without any samples to find all types of gold and silver. It's just when you want to concentrate on a specific sample, like if you only want to concentrate on gold, then you would need to place a sample either in here in the target discriminator chamber or in the front of the TFR-1 Rod if you're using the TFR-1 Rod by itself and you don't want any size target discrimination. We're going to be using the target discriminator today to concentrate on the 2-gram gold coin. You can see there, we're going to put it on 2 grams. Okay, and that way we won't get any interference from any coins or rings in people's houses in the area, because this thing goes, the TFR-1 Rod with the extreme power amplification booster goes very, very far. So to avoid any interference from any other possible targets in the area, we're going to use the target discriminator. So you just put your sample in there like I showed, and you would put this cap on just like that. Then you would attach the included stereo cable to the bottom right there in that jack. Okay, and then you would just put this, see it's got a belt clip here. You just put this on your belt or on your waist. And then you would take the other end and you would hook it in to the jack at the bottom of the TFR-1 Rod, just like that. See if I can get all this in the camera. Just like that until it pushes all the way in. Okay, so now you are ready to hunt and to search for the specific size of the target that you're searching for. It looks like so let me adjust this again to 2 grams because it got bumped. Alright, so we're back on 2 grams. Okay, so now we're ready to do our test demonstration here of the TFR-1 Rod with the standard booster, and then I'm going to go ahead and change it out with the extreme power amplification booster. Okay, so I got the TFR-1 Rod here with the standard booster ready to show you a signal lock on the gold coin. It's a 2 gram, approximately 2 gram gold coin from the 1900s, and I'll just point with the antenna. You see that tree over there where I'm pointing with the antenna? Just to the left of it on the bottom, near the ground, you can just barely make out the 2 orange cones. That's where the gold coin is. Right now we're at approximately 600 feet or so. So I think this is kind of close to the range with the standard booster here of the TFR-1 Rod. So let me show you that I am getting a signal. Before I do that, let's take a look at our target discriminator, make sure that we're still on 2 grams, which we are. Okay. Okay, and so now I'm going to try and hold the camera steady. It's a little tricky to do this, holding the camera in one hand and holding the TFR-1 rod in the other, and I'm losing daylight here, so I'm going to have to do this pretty quick. But you see, I'm going to do a sweep real slow, and you will see that when I get within range of that gold coin, I get on that signal line, you'll see that the antenna, as I sweep, the antenna starts to lock in that direction. Now, I wanted to clear something up for a lot of people that ask me about this when I make these videos. How do I know, or how do we know that you're not manipulating the rod to point where you want? Well, that's a very good question. I'm going to clear that up right now. The rod is like a compass. It's on 2 stainless ball bearings. It's free pivot. See, you can turn it 360 degrees. You see that, how I'm turning it? Okay, when I'm holding it still like this, and I'm moving it back and forth, it's free floating, like a compass. So it's very, very tricky to get it to point where I want it to point, unless I hold the top like this, and I get it off of that free pivot, then I can point it where I want, you see? But if I'm holding it like this, and it's free pivoting, it's free floating, I can't really control where that antenna goes. And if it moves around a little bit, it's because I don't have it perfectly balanced. I don't have the CG in the right place. So it's very, very difficult for me to take this thing and start getting it to point where I want it to point. So I just wanted to clear that up for people that have that question. So we're losing a little bit of sun, so I'm going to go ahead and do a sweep here, and you'll see how it's locking. Hold the camera steady here. See, if I sweep in a different direction, I lost my balance here. If I sweep in a different direction, you see, I'm not getting that lock. That's because there's no gold coins in any of these other directions out here. But as soon as I get over there by where I have the gold coin, you can see that I'm getting a lock. You see how it pulls? Now here's another thing I'll do real quick. I'll take it off 2 grams and I'll put it on 1 ounce. Now I know for a fact that there's not 1 ounce of gold out here. So I just put it on 1 ounce, the target discriminator. So I'm going to show you now what happens, because I know that there's not 1 ounce of gold anywhere out here. When I do the sweeps in that direction, I'm not getting any signals. You see that? There's no signals. That's because there's not 1 ounce of gold in that direction, or anywhere else out here that I'm aware of. Now as soon as I put the target discriminator back on 2 grams, now I can hold the camera steady. Now you will see that I will get a signal lock. See that? See that pull on the antenna as I sweep past the target? I'll go wider. As soon as I get over there in that line, it pulls. It pulls to that gold coin. You see, I'm not doing that. That's the attraction. That's the attraction of the antenna of the rod, kind of like a little radio station trying to grab on to that radio frequency. Okay. There's the signal lock as I sweep past the target. The TFR-1 rod is not electronic like my other models, but it's not really a dowsing rod, as I explained before. It's using some very, very powerful and potent crystals. And so these crystals just need a little bit of push from your body's bioenergy field. And they do the rest. They amplify that little bit of energy, kind of like a transformer, and they amplify that little bit of energy. And your body is mainly grounding the rod to the ground. You're the ground. Okay, so I'm going to start walking over in that direction, and I'm going to keep sweeping the TFR-1 rod and show you that the gold coin is over there. And then we're going to walk back, and I'm going to hook on the TFR Extreme Power Amplification Booster and show you the difference. So you can see that the target is still over there, kind of losing some daylight here because the clouds intersected the sun. See, I'm still getting a signal lock. See how the antenna pulls to the gold coin? Okay, so I'm going to just start walking with the TFR-1. I'm going to walk in a different direction and see if it'll pull to the gold coin. There you can see it. You can see the TFR-1 rod pulling in that direction of the gold coin. So even if I were to start walking in a completely different direction, I'll walk in the complete opposite direction and watch how it'll pull back, because it's looking for that frequency. Okay, I'm just holding it balanced. I'm holding it level, and there it goes. It's trying to pull back in the opposite direction to where the gold coin is, which is back over in that direction. I got to pause for a minute because my hand's starting to hurt. Take a little break here, but we're probably a little over 600 feet right now, and I'm pointing to where the gold coin is, just to the left of that big tree over there. The big tree you see that I'm pointing to with the rod. Okay, so I'm going to start walking over towards the gold coin. See if I can get a more comfortable grip on the camera. Okay. And I'll just hold the rod, the TFR-1 rod level, and I'll stop when I get closer, and I'll do another sweep and show you that it's there. That's a more, I had trouble getting a comfortable grip. So let's get a little bit closer, and I'll do another sweep and show you that the target's, it's still getting a signal on the target. Okay, I'll do a sweep right now. Okay, I'll do it wide. You see, as soon as I get over there and align with that gold coin, the TFR-1 rod, I lost the view here. As soon as I get in line with that gold coin, see how the antenna wants to line up with it? How it pulls, kind of like a small tug on a fishing line when you're fishing and the fish are biting on your bait. They're nibbling on your bait. You see that pull? That's your line of bearing. That's the signal line to the target. You can see. Now, if I sweep over in this direction, you can see the sun setting over there. Now you see there's not any pulls. I'm not getting any pulls. You see that? As soon as I get over there by the gold coin, wow, there's that pull. There's that pull towards the gold coin. So I'm going to just keep walking, and we'll get over there. Now you can just, if you're hunting with the TFR-1 rod, you don't have to sweep like I'm sweeping here for the demonstration. You can just walk anywhere in an area where you're trying to find treasure, coins, rings, whatever, and just hold the rod balanced and level. And that takes a little practice to hold this balanced as you're walking, because as I said, it's free pivot, kind of like a compass needle, and it wants to go, it kind of, you know, if you don't have it balanced and you're not holding it level, it'll want to go all over the place. But once you learn how to hold the rod balanced and level, there's that pull again, then you will be able to easily identify your targets, because the rod will pull, the antenna will pull to the targets when it finds that frequency. Okay, now we're getting close to the orange cones. You see the orange cones right over there? That's where the gold coin is, right over there. So I'm gonna get a little closer, and then I'll stop and do another sweep to show you that I'm still getting a signal to the target. And then I'll show you the gold coin up close. It's kind of tricky doing this filming by myself. Okay, I'm going to pull. Now we're going around a curve, so I'm going to try and point the rod in another direction and see if it'll pull to that gold coin, which it's already doing it. It's pulling by itself. You see how it's, I kind of lost the balance there. You see how it's pulling to the cones? All right, there's the cones. That's where the gold coin is. I'm going to do another sweep here, and you can see that the TFR-1 rod is getting a signal. It's getting a signal lock to that gold coin. There, you can see it right there. You can see it pulling. Now, if I start walking in another direction, I'll do another quick little test here. There's the gold coin right over there. We're going to start walking in another direction, and you will see that at some point it'll start pulling. There it goes. It'll start pulling by itself to the gold coin. You see that? How it's pulling? It's pulling to the coin. If I start going this way, the antenna is still locked on that signal line. The attraction is very powerful, especially if you're close to the target. Okay, so we're getting here. We're getting here up to the coin. And there you go. You can see that. I'll just show you real quick. There's the gold coin. I'll shorten the antenna on the TFR-1 rod. And you'll see that as I'm right over it, it wants to go right to it. So there you go. So now I'm gonna walk back to where we started shooting, which is about 600 feet, and I'm gonna pause the video here while I walk over there so we're not burning up a bunch of time on the video, and then I'm gonna get out the extreme power amplification booster, and I'm gonna demonstrate how much farther we can go with this powerful accessory. So just give me a minute while I get back over there, and we'll do the last part of the long distance demonstration test here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the standard booster that comes with the TFR-1 rod. I just put the camera on a tripod because it's practically impossible for me to do this and hold the camera with the other hand. I can't do this with one hand, so I just set the camera up on a tripod. Just show you, I'm going to take the standard booster off right now, just like that. See, this thing is this TFR-1 rod. It's collapsible. In less than a minute, you could take this entire thing apart and put it in your pocket, which is a huge advantage if you're trying to be discreet and you're trying to be low key. Somebody's coming. You're out looking for treasure somewhere, and you don't want people to know what you're doing. You could just take this whole thing apart, front chamber, antenna, the handle, the whole thing comes apart. And just like that, say I'll just take the front chamber off real quick to show you. And in less than a minute, you can just pop it in your pocket. See that? And then the antenna comes off too. So I'm going to put that back on. So yeah, it's people ask me sometimes, what are the advantages of these metal rods? And oops, looks like I put the front chamber on the back slot. So let me turn this around. This is one of the big advantages of these metal rods, locator rods, compared to the lighter weight plastic rods, is you can take this thing apart very fast and you can hide it in your pocket. It's not big at all, and it's very lightweight. The other big advantage is with all metal rods, the wind. You got those big bulky plastic locators. Don't need to name some of the name brands that are floating around, and you get a kind of a strong wind blowing, and or you just get a little breeze going, and it interferes with your signal sweeps. The TFR-1 rods are pretty much windproof. Unless you get a real strong gust, then you can't use them, but they can handle light winds. So that's another huge advantage with an all-metal locator rod, besides just being able to take it apart and put it in your pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and put the extreme power booster on right now, and we are going to continue filming. Here you can see I've got the TFR-A extreme power booster, extreme power amplification booster, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the back of the TFR-1 rod, and then we're going to complete our long distance demonstration test. Let me get a little bit of sunlight here on it so you can see it. So okay, so it's on there pretty good, and we're ready to go. We're ready to continue shooting.